Swastiastu. Hello, good morning. Let me introduce myself. My name is Novita Sari. My student number 22111711099. The Honorable Mr. Wijaya and my beloved friends, the students of LA thank you very much the chance given to me. I hope you are always happy and good condition. So, I'm as a presenter today, I will tell you one of the article entitled Incorporating Local Culture in English Teaching Material for Undergraduate Students. We have table of content of this material for the first introduction, the second objective, the third methodology, and the fourth discussion and results, and the five findings, and the last conclusion. I will explain one by one. Alright, in this slides, I will tell you or introduction what is teaching material and local culture. The first, teaching material is a teaching material which has benefit not only a smooth learning process, but this teaching material can provide pleasure for students. Teaching material is something that cannot be separate from teaching and learning process. Teaching material have an important role in improving student achievement and motivation in learning process, which is where a good material can be a point to determine learning outcomes, or good material can make a student excited when learning. Second, local culture. What is local culture? Local culture is religious teaching. Local culture is teaching that cannot be separate, like the teaching material. I also feel that how it's important local culture should be studied in order to maintain the culture. For the next, what is the relationship between teaching material and local culture? Local culture and teaching material have a relationship where local culture be maintained. Therefore, researchers try to do teaching material on local culture so that local culture doesn't not foreign or unfamiliar for the student. Alright, for this research, we have an objective. This research aim to discuss the incorporations of local culture material in teaching material development for students majoring in Hindu religious education at IHDN Denpasar. Alright, for this slide discussion, we can discuss about first subject and population, the second research design, and the third developing the material. Okay, and the last I also forget put the instrument of this research. Okay, the first subject and population. This research of this study was developing English teaching material for the student of Hinduism Education Department of IHDN Denpasar. And for the population, this research contains 82 students per semester. And for the next two, for the design, this research was designed or conducted as research development studies using a simplified versions of the ABDEA development model by Dick and Carey. Developing material. This research using developing ABDAE development. Okay, for the developing material, this research conducted 4 phases of development, such as the first blueprint phase, and the second draft writing phase, and the 3 draft testing phase, and the last final production phase. I will explain one by one. What is the blueprint phase? The blueprint phase aims to observe the teaching and learning process and to identify weakness in the existing material. These witnesses are used as observations of findings. And for the second, draft writing piece. What is draft writing piece? Draft writing piece is the observation finding as the basis for writing blueprint from new material and then reviewing them. The third, draft testing phase. What is draft testing phase? Draft writing phase, where after criticism and suggestions from the expert, so the material are after that the material are retrieved and considered feasible, and then it can be used as draft testing phase. And the last, final production phase. What is final production? Final production, where after passing the testing results from the students' criticism and suggestions, it can be made specifically for the students of a religious education department. Or the researchers can make a book and but is especially specifically for the student of religious education department. Alright, for the blueprint phase has the weaknesses of blueprint. The blueprint has three main weaknesses, namely topic is too unfamiliar, and the second, vocabulary is too confusing, and the third, material layout and presentation. Alright, I will explain one by one. The first topic is too unfamiliar. When the students discuss about the topic unfamiliar, it can make the student not understand for the lesson or for the discussions in the classes. For example, the teacher explained the history of the presidents in America. It's, I think, one or three students can understand, but it's not every student can familiar for this material. So we can change with familiar material for the students such as the religions, God, and so on. Okay, and the second, vocabulary is too confusing. The level of difficulty where there is vocabulary for foreign languages, especially the language Sanskrit, which is too much can make students busy or confusing. So we can add L1 or 9 Sanskrit from the material. Okay, for the third, the material layout and presentation. The material and presentations of material that relies too much on exercise. It will make students feel sick and feel sleepy. And the presentation material that is not black and white also, it can make students confusing. So the teacher can present the material by adding color and or picture. So to overcome weaknesses, the researcher should meet the need listen to the criticism or suggestions of the student. The researcher should use unfamiliar capture where it's too close to language. When researcher can introduce reading, can find out from the article, google.com, Scholar, and so on. You can look at the teacher. The teacher can add about Hindu god, the Sakhi temple, separate mountain, persembahan Hindu, and traditional ceremonies. 5. And for the next, the researcher can add Galungan and Kuningan material. And the 7 about Balinese wedding. And for the last, the researcher can add Nyepi Day. I think this material can make students unfamiliar. So for these all things, students are familiar with to foster student interest You can add artwork or picture. For the next, I will present about the result of questionnaire instrument of this research. Look at the picture. From the table 1, the questionnaire results in percent. The researcher provides 5 questions. The first, is material more interesting than the existing material? From the question provided, strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly agree. Okay, I will discuss. The first, is material more interesting than the existing material? 77, the students strongly agree that this material is more interesting than the existing material. And you can look at for the agree, 17 students agree that this material more interesting than the existing material. For the neutral 5 and disagree 1 and strongly disagree 0. And the second, this material is as easier to understand than the existing material. 68 students strongly agree that this material is easier to understand than the existing material. You can look at from the agree 28 and neutral 4, disagree 0, strongly disagree 0. Alright, and for the third, this material is more fun to learn than the existing material. From the results, 72 students that strongly agree that this material is more fun to learn than the existing material because it's too much the color. It makes them excited. And the fourth, this material helps me learn English better than the existing material. Almost every 18.5 students strongly agree that this material helped them. And for the last, I prefer to study English using this material than the existing material. 19.1 students strongly agree that they prefer to study English using this material from the existing material. Alright, so from the data, the questionnaire results, the majority of students prefer the new material to existing material because new material has an interesting depth or attractions that make students not feel boring while still learning. From the interview with students, they like the new material because of the picture and color that not make them feel boring. From the findings, so students prefer new material to existing material. From the data results highlights 2 things. The first, one student needs to be niche most important factor in developing material, where the material can make them learning by herself. And the second, culturally familiar. From the local culture and or the teaching material is make them feel familiar. So, teaching material are familiar to culture will make students excited about learning and can foster student interest. Alright, from the last researchers, we can conclude that combining local culture material can help students learn English. The use of local culture reduces foreign material. The reduces excessive stress or avoiding the stress. So, the results of this research show that familiar material will help students in English or foreign languages. The researcher can eat or food about Bali wedding and today. Okay, everyone, thank you for your time and thank you for your attentions. I hope you are always happy and good condition. Thank you for your watching my YouTube video. I will end with Tama Santi. Om Santi Santi Santi.